Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very 74th episode of Cool Down Timer. My name is Neefu, and with me today, I am joined by Zingles, Artman,
Rigmarole,
and from the distant, distant land, Alaska, Mark Hamilton.
Well, I'm in the money. I'm in the cash. I'm happy.
Are you in the money and the cash yet?
No,
or are you
no.
almost in the money and the cash?
The next month, my wife and I get our yearly bribe to live in Alaska.
Yay!
I'm going to buy a
And
new
you'll be able
computer.
to-
It's going to be great.
Gonna be able to play new games again.
Yeah. I've got a new game on my wish list. I've been waiting until I had money to buy it. It's $5 whole.
What is it?
Why, Sam can tell you about that because he just told me about it 5 minutes ago.
you're talking about the Town of Salem?
Yes.
I just heard about this the other day.
I know nothing about this game other than the stuff that you told me that I don't remember
It
at
looks
all.
basically like that game everyone played when they were a kid, Mafia or whatever, where like one person's the Mafia and everyone else is. It goes by a million different names, but everyone else is the
one
the
person's
townsfolk
mafia, everyone else is werewolves.
I don't think I played your version, but basically one person is trying to murder everybody and everybody else is trying to lynch the person that's murdering everybody else.
Actually,
that's basically the general rule
yeah.
of gameplay.
Although it's several people trying to murder. If there's only one, it's serial killer. And man, it doesn't work. I've played serial killer. There's a reason there's supposed to be more than one mafia. Otherwise, it's like, oh, everybody won. Because you guessed lucky once.
Fair enough.
I was in I was in kindergarten. I had to have been like second grade or something. I went over to my friend's house for his birthday party, and we played a version of one of those games where all the lights were off, and we were just like walking throughout the house, and the moment they tapped you, you would die. And so you'd have to like fall on the floor and make like big dramatic loud screaming noises as you died. And you know, then everybody tries to do the whole who done it?
Yeah, and you know, it's a great party game, which is why lots of people have played it. I've also played it over the internet in a forum where it's basically...
Oh, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, where it's basically like a day in the game is like a day or possibly two in real life, and everyone votes, and it's all play by post. And also at the same time, everyone was trying to role play. We had like Marvel werewolf, basically, where everyone's a Marvel character.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that, and I was like, that actually sounds like really crazy fun.
It was, but it was one of those things where I played like four rounds of it, and it takes up like a week or 2 weeks or more of your life, and like all day you're thinking about it, you're constantly checking it, so it kind of burns you out. You know?
Gotcha. Yeah. Anyway, this game looked like a really fun little fun way of doing it. Like, and I like that you get your little character and you've got like a little job and there's a little town. And it's all adorable and you're trying to murder each other.
Yeah, just looking over it, it looks like Werewolf or Mafia, only like someone has really just elaborated on the rules.
Yeah. And like when you're looking at a game and like the only complaints are it's hard to play online because this game is too easy to cheat on. Then I'm like, oh, okay, because I would never do that because I don't like people. So,
Oh, right.
that means that this game has no complaints.
No, it's like, because in Mafia or Werewolf, there usually be like 2 to 3 special roles. Like, oh, that's the guy who can find out if someone's Mafia or not. And that's the lady who can bring people back to life. Or that's the dude who can protect people. And Town of Salem says they have 30 unique roles.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, but I don't think you don't use all of them because I think it's like 7 to 17 play or 7 to 15 players. So like you're not using all 30. I think it's to keep things spicy. You know, you have different stuff every time, which is a really good idea.
Well, I know.
I've added it to my wish list.
I had no idea we were talking about this tonight.
Yeah, but it's cool. I think this looks pretty neat.
Yeah, I've been really wanting to try it out, but
The art style looks cute.
yeah, nice little art style.
Especially about a game murdering people. So it's got to look cute. But yeah, I can imagine how they could end up with all these different roles, wanting them for variety, because there were a couple different versions of the online one I played, and basically roles got really, I won't say out of hand, but elaborate. Like,
Oh,
and then
really?
they had one role called the sympathizer who wants the bad guys to win.
What?
Like, if the bad guys win, he wins too, but the bad guys don't know who he is, and he doesn't know who the bad guys are. So it's kind of
Gosh.
complicated to be in.
See, and like one
Gosh.
thing I think would be a lot of fun with this one is like you're not supposed to play it over with like voice chat or something, but I think it'd be a lot of fun playing it over voice chat and just kind of playing up your character a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be a
I didn't
blast.
do it.
Yes, it was he. His villainy is clear.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it could be a lot of fun. We should get a group together and play it and like
We
record
should.
it or something.
I don't know how many bodies we can get together. Oddly enough, the most antisocial of all of us, Zam, has the most random friends that we play
Because-
online with.
That's because I'm in a guild, yo.
I guess it's because the kind of people you make friends with are pretty much solely online, and so
Yeah.
they're usually up for online games.
Actually, one of my online buddies, it turns out, lives like 5 minutes away from me.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah, he's gonna start
meet
watching
him.
Game of Thrones with my little group, and
You're gonna meet him IRL.
yeah. Well, it was funny when Overwatch had an event near here. He was like, "Hey, you coming to the Overwatch thing? Because we're going." And then I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know it was a thing." And he's like, "Yeah." And so then we didn't talk for a couple days. And he was just like, "Yeah, I was there," and I was just in the crowd yelling, "Genghis!" trying to find you.
Oh, you see, I can see his mistake because the word crowd was used.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what?
Yes.
That's exactly why I didn't go. I was like, I don't want to meet a new person and be in a crowd.
Yeah.
So that's a fun little game. Recommended, even though we never played it.
And to finish up that little talk, yeah, I can get up to 7 people because this was shown to me by a guildie who was like, I want to do this with a bunch of people and like stream it on Twitch or something. So like I can get more people.
Yeah. Speaking of games that draw inspiration from, your Mafia or your Werewolf or whatever type games,
Werewolf, bar mitzvah, spooky, scary.
I played the Battlestar Galactica board game this week,
Boys becoming men. Men
and
becoming wolves.
I loved it.
It's okay. In like 7 years, you'll look back at it and you'll be like, it's not quite as good as it used to be. My whole storytelling thing is different now. That game is just.
No, my whole mechanical
Okay,
influence.
here's the thing. No,
There you go.
I don't think you realize how important that was for me. Like, it's freed me up so much with my storytelling. It's like, nothing is perfect. No story is perfect. I'm accepting imperfections in my story.
Nobody
I'm not
exists on
going to turn
purpose. Nobody
turn into
belongs
the kid at
anywhere.
the end of Whiplash.
Everyone is
I don't
gonna
need to
die.
be perfect.
No, I'm just imagining now you sitting there over your laptop tippity typing, and you look at it, and then you look up at a poster of Gaius Baltar, and you just sigh and you digitally crumple it up, throw it away. And now the illusion's been pierced. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect.
Well, I don't know. Like, the thing was, at that point in time of my life, when I watched that, it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And, I still think of it as a very important, influential, step in my development as a storyteller. Because, before that, I just watched, like, Stargate and stuff. And as much fun as Stargate can be.
Stargate is a lot of fun, but it's kind of that classic procedural, not procedural. What do you call it?
I mean, episodic.
Right, yeah, episodic.
It's got bigger story arcs, but it tends to be more episodic than not.
Battlestar
And-
Galactica was one of the first of the
Battlestar
series
Galactica.
that were plot
like-
heavy that you see a lot these days.
Yeah.
And it was like dripping in angst. So
Yeah, which Stargate definitely wasn't.
no.
Well, once you get to universe, it is.
Stargate
Yeah, but
was
we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
We were talking about SG-1.
Stargate was very 90s in that it was kind of bright, even if it was filmed bright.
Yeah.
More happy endings than sad endings. Very episodic. We mentioned last week. Zam and I are watching Deep Space Nine. It's the same way. It's that '90s. I don't know, optimism in television.
It's really weird. I've also been watching X-Files, which is not '90s optimistic, and that show is really freaking weird.
Well, I don't.
Really weird.
I can't watch the X-Files because as a little boy I was traumatized by the theme music.
Oh, by the theme music? When I was a little kid, okay. There was a scene in I think it's in season 1 where this monster they're like chasing gets sucked under an escalator.
Oh dear.
And that was the only scene I remembered vividly from the show because my parents used to watch it and I would see bits and pieces of it here and there. I saw that and it scared me for years. And I just watched it the other day. I'm like, holy crap, I remember every detail of this scene.
It didn't grow in the memory. No, it was exactly the way it was.
The exact way it was terrifying. And that show has some really, really nice makeup and stuff. They do some pretty freaky stuff in there.
I did see a picture of Lamprey Man. And
I haven't seen him.
This was in the 90s?
The
on
other
TV?
thing is that obviously it is cheesy, but it's not as cheesy as I was expecting it to be. Most of their mysteries, I thought it was going to be what monster are we fighting this week?
Why, it's a chupacabra.
But I just watched that episode. But yeah, they do have kind of, monster a week every once in a while, but most of the time it's just okay, there's this weird thing, and he's just oh yeah, it's this crazy thing that no one's ever heard of or whatever, and then she all rolls her eyes, she's no, it can't be that because science, and then she's it's got to be this, and he's well, it could be that, but it's not, and then they go and they go and they go and they go, and then they just never find out. Most of them, it's just it's kind of just up to you to decide which one you think is, more likely. And I was I kind of like that because it would drop to super cheesy way too fast every time it was just, a new monster or something like that. I mean,
I guess the world's full of monsters.
There definitely are some with weird monsters. I just watched one where there was a guy who ate cancer.
That's handy. He sounds like a nice fella.
Well, he was a murderer.
Oh, I see. Gotta cut it out first, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
Not like I'll just suck gently at your body until the cancer's
not like
gone.
how you used to siphon the color out of my jacket. No, and again with the really nicely done effects. There was one where he had eaten the lung of some guy, and they were just showing the corpse, and it was just man, that's nasty. Well done. This was in the 90s. Good God.
My experience with the X-Files is very limited. I saw a couple episodes of the first handful of episodes a handful of years ago. And then when season 10 came out, I read a couple reviews on it, and most of them were a little lackluster. But I kept seeing universal praise for a standalone episode called Mulder and Scully Meet the Were-Monster.
That sounds really cheesy.
So I watched it, and it was gloriously humorous.
Oh, gosh.
It was, I mean, as long as you don't take X-Files too seriously, it was a very entertaining episode.
Right. I haven't seen that one yet, I don't think.
Well, it's the 10th season that came out last year.
Oh,
so.
no, I have definitely not seen it yet. I'm finding myself liking the show way more than I was expecting to. Because, the first season is, well, maybe not first season. The first couple episodes are really bad. And it does have really bad episodes every once in a while. It's a 90s show.
Yeah.
But every once in a while they pull out some really interesting stuff. And every once in a while you get some really high concept sci-fi, but they really look at it in a more realistic lens than Star Trek or something does,
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty cool.
Well, that's surprising to me because I know it's a cult classic, but you don't always get along with cult classics.
No, I don't.
So that's kind of surprising.
I don't love it. I don't love it or anything, but I'm enjoying it, and that's all you can ask from a show, right? So
yeah, I've never.
As I am learning the hard way.
I've never seen an episode, but as a small child who often had nightmares, I had to listen to the theme music right when I went to bed in the dark.
Oh, jeez.
It is kind of creepy theme music. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and when you're lying in a dark room trying to go to sleep, and suddenly it's do 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 do. I'm like, there's no such thing as ghosts. Or aliens.
Or is there?
Said a ghost.
Okay, so to bounce back, a couple
board
steps
game, right?
back to the Battlestar Galactica board game.
What was that like?
Pretty wonderful, I think.
Was everyone depressed? Then it was.
no.
Oh, then it was a terrible adaptation.
So I don't think. When was the last time you watched that show? Because it gets funny at times, like really funny at times.
It's still a depressing show.
That's what the humor's there for.
The
'Cause
only
if-
funny parts I remember is Gaius making out with someone who wasn't there.
Gaius reminds me of like super asshole Bashir from Deep Space Nine.
Come on, he gets better. You know this.
Okay, here's the thing. I just want to clarify. Okay, a show can have funny moments in it and still be depressing. He can be an asshole and still get better. It doesn't matter. What I say is still true.
Okay. Yes.
I guess that's
Overall,
fair.
yes, the show is on the
Depressing.
darker, more depressing
And
end
he
of things.
is an asshole. But yeah, he reminds me of Julian Bashir.
But so, for those who are uninitiated, I guess, the basic premise of Battlestar Galactica is it takes place elsewhere in the universe. There's 12 colonies of humans that are out there, and then all of a sudden, the Cylons attack, and the different
How
versions
bad is
have
that
different
CGI
lore.
now? Because it was real. I remember being like awed by it.
Okay, so
Me too.
the CG, it depends upon what you're looking at.
I'm specifically talking about the episode where the Cylons board the ship and one of them slashes somebody with his claws. I just remember that.
It wasn't as awkward as I expected it would be,
Yeah.
or it wasn't as awkward as I thought it would be. But I think those are the sequences that stand out the most, the ones where there are the Centurions in the same shot as human actors. But those are few and in between, or whatever the phrase is, because of budget reasons. They couldn't have put them in there because they didn't have the money to put them in there that much. But for the most part, a lot of the ship stuff stands up.
Gotcha.
Some of the ship stuff doesn't, when you're like the camera's passing a Viper and it's like, oh, yep, that's just a generic CG model of a person in there. But that's like maybe 2%, 5% of the shots that you see in space. The rest, I think, stand up for the most part.
Do you remember your Lego Raptor you were so proud of?
The Raptor was shit. The Viper was actually
Or
not terrible.
Viper, whatever. I don't remember the name.
I actually pulled it out the other day. I found it.
You still have that, dude? How do you still
Dude.
have that?
Because I'm kept all of my Lego things, and as you
But
just said,
but
I was
together?
really proud of it.
All right, fair enough.
It meant something to me once.
So how is the board game?
I know, right? We'll get there.
That we'll never get to hear about.
We're really bad at this.
There's too much Galactica baggage.
Okay, so
Is
again,
somebody
basic.
a Cylon trying to blend in?
Okay, so basic premise is, again, humans are trying to the surviving humans of the human colonies are booking it through space, warping. Well, not warping. I mean, it's an FTL jump, but whatever. They're jumping from place to place, trying to get away from the Cylons, and the Cylons are chasing them. So there are a bunch of different expansions for it, but I'm just going to talk about the base game, which is what I've got at the moment.
Because Cylons
So,
were created by
say
man.
what? What'd you say?
Cylons were created by man. They got
Yeah.
angry. They evolved. They got angsty. Yeah, I don't remember how it goes.
Now we're on a ship.
Now we're on a ship. It's sad.
So the basic premise, or like the basic
They have a plan.
gameplay is, the goal is to jump 8 units of distance.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So each expansion kind of follows each of the, seasons of the show. So the base game, your goal is to get 8 units of distance to get to Cobalt, and the Cylons are chasing you.
I never finished that show.
I'm sorry.
Eh.
And so, the Cylons will occasionally show up and, like, launch base stars and raiders and stuff and attack the Galactica. And, you got to try to jump away or, attack them to keep them off you long enough for you to be able to jump. And you're repairing ships and launching nukes and all that stuff. But someone out there, one of the other players, is a Cylon. And they're working against you.
Dun, dun, dun.
But the thing is, you don't know, they may not know that they're a Cylon yet, because once you've jumped 4 units of distance, so at the beginning of the game, you pass out loyalty cards that tell you whether or not you're a Cylon. But then once you've jumped over 4 units of distance, you pass out loyalty cards again. So someone who may have been human the first half of the game may all of a sudden get a Cylon card and is like, oh, snap. Time to be a dick.
But
Existential angst.
Can somebody who's a Cylon get a human card and be like, "Oh, I was wrong"?
No. So
I was a human the whole time.
Cylon cards supersede everything else.
Sam, I'm just imagining someone in the middle of the game saying, oh wait, I sabotaged the engines. We gotta stop. It turns out I was a human the whole time.
I was so wrong.
But so the thing is, when you get your Cylon card, it has an action on it that you can use instead of your normal actions that basically is just big middle finger to everyone else that's playing, I'm out, and then you die and pop over to the resurrection ship and then just make life a living hell for the humans from over there. But like some of them, it's like, okay, if you're not in the brig, you can damage Galactica. Or if you're not in the brig, you can, I don't remember, throw someone else in the brig. There's a handful of different options.
Is there one where if you're not in the brig, you can have sex with Gaius Baltar?
Just make sure someone checks your spine while you're doing it.
Yes.
It's like, why is the room always glowing?
I mean, seriously, that was a test they could have taken to the bank.
That's like doing glowing eyes. It's like we got to do something to show that they're not human. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't make sense.
Why not make, like, I don't know, their poop not stink?
Guys, I figured out how to figure out who's Cylon.
No, I was about to say, like,
we check for LEDs in their spine. If they have LEDs in their spine, they're a bad guy.
During the the first season, like one of the big story arcs is Gaius's, Cylon detector. Well, I mean, he himself is a Cylon detector with how much sex that man has.
Oh yeah, I see. You're in a window. So, who did you play the board game with?
I played it with my wife and a couple of our friends that
it's nice.
live nearby.
Did you make a dinner party of it?
Well, it was like a lunch party because our original
It's
plan...
okay. It doesn't need to be exact. We get the idea.
Yes,
Keep going.
Yes.
No, I'm curious. What'd you serve?
Turkey sandwiches.
What time exactly were they there? I need to know.
We started playing about 2 p.m.
Mayo or no mayo on those sandwiches?
I had mayo on mine with some mustard.
Did you have
That's why you liked the board game, because you were eating mayo. It's all relevant.
I did not have relish.
So were you the Cylon?
I was not the Cylon.
That's sad. Who was the Cylon? Was it your lovely wife?
Yes, it was my lovely wife. She was the Cylon.
How did I know she would have been the Cylon?
If you were locked on a ship with all the people you know, you'd suspect her the first.
that means that you were Gaius, because you're sleeping with the Cylon.
He kind of looks Gaius-y.
You were inspired by Gaius.
I was playing Gaius because Gaius is my favorite character. Except for season 4 Gaius, because that part got weird.
So did she win, or did everyone else win?
So she ended up winning accidentally. Like, not by her own doing.
Wait,
like,
so you mean the Cylons didn't have a plan?
No, the Cylons didn't have a plan, just like in the show.
The humans just messed up.
Yes, exactly. No, seriously. Like, we got to the point where she revealed herself as a Cylon, but by that point, we'd already made enough emergency jumps and lost enough population that we had one population left.
Oh, gosh.
And so we were like, okay, we're being bombarded by raiders. We have 2 boarding parties on the ship. Two base stars jumped in. We're screwed. Let's just do a Hail Mary emergency jump and see if we can survive to address these situations a different day. And we failed the jump.
You accidentally jumped into Stargate universe and it was all over.
We failed the jump, and so she won. Because she was the Cylon. And yeah.
And they don't have a plan.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you had fun.
Oh no, it was great. Like we had a couple weird, like, with the base game. There's a bit of a weird randomness issue with how often the Cylon fleet can jump on your location and make things annoying. But they addressed that in one of the expansions, but I also found a kind of makeshift attempt to address that pulls mechanics from Pandemic.
Which I've also never
Epidemic cards. That's a fun game, too. I've been playing Pandemic Legacy with my wife, her sister, and her mom.
How many times has the plague swept the earth?
What do you mean?
Like, have you failed?
We did fail 1 month, and it was terrible because it was just after they'd released, or they had given us a new mechanic, and so we didn't quite know how to use that mechanic yet, and that mechanic just brutally slaughtered us. But our last 2 games went well. I think we're getting our hand on things. We've, applied some good upgrades to some stuff. We have, I don't want to spoil anything. It's absolutely worth playing unspoiled. But that's a fun game too.
I don't know if I'll ever have a chance. But,
well,
so.
I can tell you after if you care that much.
I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never played the basic game, so nothing would mean anything to me.
Exactly.
I've only seen people playing it over their
Pandemic?
shoulders. Yeah,
Man, what's
at a cafe.
What we should really do is
Pandemic's sad?
we should figure out how to do like a bi-weekly game over the internet. That can't be hard. There's got to be a way to do it. Roll20 probably has enough stuff in there to rebuild things in there.
Well, if everyone has a board, then you can move stuff around on it while somebody else.
The only problem would be a
master
deck,
things.
so you'd have to have like some. Well, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. The deck would be annoying in that situation.
I'm sure there's a way.
Yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure that I would guarantee you there's a personalized deck builder on the internet where you can just put in all of the cards and everyone can draw from it.
Yeah.
Someone might have made a version for it for Vassal, which is that online board game playing software I saw.
One of my friends and I were trying to figure out how to possibly do the Game of Thrones board game
through
over
Vassal?
the internet.
I was less than
impressed with Vassal.
No. I'm trying to figure out the exact wording I want to use. I was not super impressed with the Game of Thrones board game.
Yeah,
well, I don't think we got a fair shake on it.
No, that's fair enough, I guess. But
because the person who taught us the rules, just as we were getting the hang of it, said, "And I win."
That is true.
Because you guys were all noobs and didn't understand the nuances of the game, and I took advantage of that, being the only one who's ever played before.
And it was also late in the evening, so we didn't have a whole lot of time.
We were just getting some schemes going, and he's just like, "I win."
The other thing is, that generally I prefer games that we can play on a team.
Yeah, which again is kind of why I've kind of gravitated towards games like BSG or Dead of Winter or XCOM, because with Dead of Winter and BSG, we had this board game idea that the three of us were throwing around a couple years back, and BSG and Dead of Winter are basically just different expressions of that game idea.
I still want to work on that game.
I know, right?
We had some cool ideas in there.
See, here's the thing. It's like the BSG game is fun, but part of me is just missing those like adorable character concepts that you had sketched up.
Yeah, man. We need
for the space board game.
We should work on that again. We should figure out a time to put in some time weekly on that.
I've got the bones of it set up in Vassal. Vassal's kind of hard, but I was figuring it out so that we could test play it. At one point, I was so obsessed with it that I made up a bunch of cards while I was at work for the state, and
See, I think that was
several hours of state time playing a game with myself using an Excel spreadsheet instead of a board.
Gosh.
And a random number generator for a deck.
Jeez. Yeah, I think I'll probably end up doing like some more character concepts because I've been trying to draw every day. And that'll get you guys all inspired because you love seeing pictures.
I gotta find the list of cards I made up.
Yeah, see, that was the thing. I think we got to the point where we had the general mechanics.
Yeah, because what happened was we had the general mechanics, and then Mark started working on cards, and then I was kind of like talking in between you guys, and the three of us never got back together and talked over everything.
I was kind of obsessed with the mechanic side of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk to you. I only talked to Zach.
Well, I don't know. I definitely love to talk about that again at some point soon because with some of the board games I've now played, I've seen how other people have addressed some of the issues that we were having. And it's like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's steal that idea. That was a bad idea. Let's not do that.
I got to the part of the creative process where, after a lot of obsession, I'm like, but is this fun? I can't tell if this is fun. I can't tell if any of this is good.
Well, we can start working on it, and maybe we can kind of have updates in our podcasts so that you know.
Don't expect it. It's not going to happen. We're going to talk about it right here, and
not with that attitude.
I got so obsessed. I even thought up I don't know if this was my idea originally or if I stole it from one of you guys and forgot, but I was like thinking up a sequel board game where it's like they've reached another planet and it's like a colony.
Oh, jeez.
And the outcome of the first game changes the starting setup.
That is a cool idea.
You know, like, these aliens came out dominant, so they dominate the colony, or everyone worked together, so it's all equal.
I don't remember all the different races we came up with. I remember the robots, and they were my favorite.
Yes, there were robots, Martians, humans, and space elves is what I called them.
Yeah, because we never really had a name for them. Because, like, the Martians were just pretty much space goblins.
And they were focused on food and life support because they live on a horrible planet.
I remember the idea behind the robots was like it was these robots that had like gained their own intelligence and everything, and instead of like rising up against the humans, they were just like, no, we're good. We just want to be free.
Yeah, because the robots were the humans' creations, but they were equal people, and the Martians were Martians, and the space elves were the guys who like. I imagine they lived in the asteroid belt or something, and they were the ones that knew.
They knew what shit was going on.
Yeah, and they were like, we all got to leave now. Get on a giant colony spaceship, much akin to Battlestar Galactica.
No, exactly. It was like looking at the gameplay, like there are a lot of similarities between BSG
and what we had been working on,
as well as different similarities between Dead of Winter and what we were working on.
But I really liked how I really liked the ideas of like the event cards where everyone had to work together, and like
Battlestar has a wonderful mechanic for that that I would.
I know we had our
steal.
We had our peril meter.
Yeah, and that's
where it's like how much just peril
damage
the ship is in.
The other ship is in, yeah.
But it wasn't just regular damage; it was also societal damage. Like, are we on the brink of a race war?
I don't know, man. And like, I told some of my friends who are really big into board games, I kind of walked them through all the ideas we had, and they were like, all like, they were really into it. So like, it's not just something that sounds good to us. It is something that sounds good to other people.
But there is a difference between sounds good and works good.
And actually plays. So yeah, we do need
as Peter Molyneux has taught us many times.
Oh yes, Molyneux.
I saw this funny comic
Mullen knew you were gonna not deliver on that.
The main guy who did No Man's Sky is like sleeping in bed, and then an angel appears to him. He's like, "What's that?" He's like, "It's I, Peter Molyneux, here to take you to the heaven of over-promising game developers." And he's like, "Game developer heaven is perfect and beautiful and wonderful," and he gets there and it sucks.
I mean, I think we talked about it, but like, I think a lot of that was just hype taking it away.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Well, but it has not helped them that they haven't said more than like 2 words in a month.
But like on the other hand, can you really blame them for not stopping the hype? You know, they're just a little indie company that all of a sudden was this big, huge thing.
Yeah, what were they supposed to say? Guys, it's not going to be that fun.
I don't know if you've been keeping up with, you know, that other guy that we like listening to a lot, but Jim Sterling has a really good point with, yes, technically they are a very small indie studio that doesn't necessarily have the experience that a lot of other companies do, but they were backed by Sony that should have had the experience to have said, hey, chill, calm this down.
Well, it is what it is.
Yep, and I'm not playing it.
Best game ever made.
Past that first thing.
100 out of 100.
Best game.
Best game. Yeah, I knew you'd get the reference.
Yeah, we'll see if we work on that board game or not.
Yeah, no, I'm into it because I really liked the characters I'd come up with and stuff for it, and we had some really cool ideas.
Yeah, I had a lot of cool lore ideas too.
There was a lot of fun lore,
but the mechanics was the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I stopped really talking to you about it, Neefu, because we had differing ideas about the mechanics.
Yeah, see, that was the problem.
I was consumed by my vision.
Yep, and I got frustrated with the fact that I felt like I wasn't being listened to, so I just gave up on trying to
And I got frustrated because I was the middleman between you two.
Listen,
you mean like every other situation?
Yeah.
Sometime we should set a date for a Skype meeting. I'll bring out all the stuff I came up with, and I'll say, like, listen, do what you want with it, because I didn't really collab with you. But I thought these ideas would be cool.
Yeah.
Mechanically.
Yeah, we'll work it out. I mean...
Yeah. Friendship.
With magic.
And on that very friendly note, we have come to the end of episode 74 of Cool Down Timer. Question of the week. Start thinking about it.
Okay.
You could potentially get yourself a free Steam game. Some conditions apply. Whatever. Some limitations apply or whatever. Blah blah blah. But just send your answer to the answer of the question. Answer to the question of the week to contact us at cooldowntimer.com or send us a message on our Facebook page. The answer to the question of the week, which is...
Question of the week is, what weird group game that you played when you were a kid you think could be made into a really fun little video game?
Oh, like Mafia.
Like Mafia.
Gotcha. I wasn't quite sure where you were going with that. I was like, what?
Me neither. I keep forgetting about the question of the week. I'm going to give it to Mark. Mark does questions of the week now.
Okay,
Whoa,
Mark now does question of the week, but not this week.
Not this week?
You can do it this week. There can be 2 questions this week.
Okay. Well, I got to practice. Question of the week. If you ever played Mafia, Loremand, or Werewolf, if so, tell us your story. Even if it's not a story.
One or both of those questions. Bark yes for no. Let's do this.
So yeah, this is the end of episode 74. I'm really hoping we at least finish enough episodes to make my decision to include 3 digits in my indexing worthwhile.
I think we'll make it.
We're so close.
We're 3/4 of the way there.
So close.
You know, I just love stretching this podcast out.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Cool down timer, yeah.
And I am recording now too and testing the volume. Testing. Hamtaro, little hamsters, big adventures.
Nope.
My
Nope.
best friend.
Nope.
I like
Nope.
sunflower seeds.
Nope.
I like them.
Nope.
Get
Nope.
your eggs here.
Nope. You're memeing to memes, guys. Shut up and move on.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Yellow middle. That's the best of what you are. I love you, egg. White and tender, surround the center. Cozy sitting in the crackling shell. Vitamins and minerals in you. Oodles of the protein too.
Oodle doodle.
Recording.
Popular and
Hell!
perfect and
So complete in every way.
I hate it here.
Coming to my tummy, oh so very yummy. Crack, crack, crack.
Chippa,
Chip
chippa,
chip away your shell and come to me. Get your eggs. I love you.
Fresh
eggs.
eggs.
I love you.
White eggs.
Really, really love you. So eggs. Fresh eggs. 365 days. I really love you so. I really love you so. Yummy.
I don't want to be in your podcast. Your podcast's dangerous.
We're trying to pretend we're not old anymore.
Okay, so
like 10
y'all's are recording?
Yeah, I'm recording.
I've been recording for 3 minutes.